Hi there. Today we're going to talk about the 24 mistakes to avoid when hiring a web agency. Full disclosure, I own one, so grain of salt. First of all, don't be closed-minded about the technology used. A lot of times a company is a type of shop, a .NET shop, a Java shop, a PHP shop, etc. But sometimes a solution that might be the best one for you isn't the one you're already doing. So use a partner to figure out what's best for you for the product and not necessarily what you're already doing. Number two, don't go out looking if you don't have a budget in mind. It makes it really hard for agencies to figure out what size of a solution to propose to you. So sometimes there is a small and medium and large approach, and each have their values, and it's helpful to know where you're trying to get to as well. Number three, especially with websites, but digital in general, just don't think that it's done the day it launches. Some of the most interesting things come after launch, as soon as users start using the product and you start collecting data about what people care about and what they interact with. So plan for a post-launch continual improvement and discovery session. Four, don't expect miracles. If your customers are hard to reach, your brand is hard to understand, or the product is new, it's going to take some time to market it, find an audience, engage them, and get them using it. So create a plan for how to engage them over time, and don't expect it to happen overnight. Number five, don't try to say everything all at once. One of the most common problems we encounter is companies with a broad set of messages and broad user base. Everything's got to be on the main screen or the home page, or every audience needs to be addressed all at once. Use personas and other user-centered design principles to figure out who you need to talk to, what are the most important messages, and say them in a way that's understandable and not cluttered. Six, don't try to plan it all up front. All the new research about software and technology development says that trying to do the so-called big design up front, where you create a master plan and just go execute it, it fails. And there are plenty of quotes about it. I think there's an Eisenhower quote that says something like, the second the battle starts, the plan is out the window, but the important part is the planning itself. As far as skills go, number seven, don't hire a brand agency to do a tech build, and don't hire a tech agency to work on your brand. Maybe it goes without saying, but just understand what kind of thing you're looking to do and find the specialists that know how to do it. Number eight, don't forget the marketing. We've built a number of products where all along we're saying, once this thing launches, how are you going to engage customers? And the company or client will say, no, I've got it covered, it's fine, we've got people to do it. And then when we're done, there's no money to market it, so it just sits there on the shelf. And that's a shame, because maybe you could have cut back 30% of the build budget and actually built in some marketing as well. Number nine, don't get stuck on one solution. Many times clients will show up saying they absolutely have to have an app or absolutely have to have a sales tool. But if a few iterations into something you realize that there's a pivot that takes you in a different direction for a better product, do that. Don't be stuck on the original goal. Sometimes goals change when you realize what is really going on. Number 10, don't ignore picking a team to support the product after it launches. Digital products are living, breathing things. They're never done, even from a hosting point of view. You've got security and maintenance and other things to do. So understand that there are things to do long after it launches. Number 11, don't start your project before your business strategy is in place. We've encountered a number of things where we have to listen to clients arguing about what it is their business is trying to do while we're building something. So it's pretty clear to us that you're probably wasting time and money by having us sit and listen while you're figuring things out. So do that first. Number 12, don't introduce big changes late in the project. It goes without saying, but changes done earlier in the project are easier to fix. Later, there's so many different tendrils and things attached to things that it's difficult to make changes effectively in the project. Number 13, don't go rogue. We've had a number of situations where clients say, the parent company or the division isn't doing what they want to do, so they're doing this project on the side. I would say with 100% certainty that all those get squashed eventually. So make sure you're operating within the framework of your company and brand. Number 14, don't forget to research whether this has been done before and done better. We've built a number of things that a client has insisted are one of a kind and unique, only to find that a competitor's been out there for a year and is doing it really, really well. So maybe it's time to look deeper into what their customers want and pivot on something different. Number 15, when hiring an agency, make sure they understand and want to work with analytics, because as one of the earlier comments pointed out, the most interesting stuff happens after the launch. It happens when you start understanding what clients and customers are doing on products to understand what they really want. Number 16, don't be a bad first date. when working with an agency, if all you're talking about is yourself and you're not listening to them, it's like being on a date where people are just talking and talking and talking and you're not engaging. So understand what your agency is all about and what you're all about, and see if it's a fit. Number 17, when engaging an agency, a lot of times it's cheaper just to go with a template approach, and I've already seen this done, or I've got this example of something. It's pretty rare that businesses are so exactly the same that an existing solution works perfectly. Sometimes it is, but if you're trying to create something unique and valuable, that's probably why it's not. Number 18, don't reinvent the wheel. So if it's already been done by someone better, maybe it's time to stop. Maybe it's time to not do that and try something else. Number 19, don't undervalue project management. Most agencies will have a project management layer on top of things. Some clients object to this, saying, well, should that be included? My argument is that it's probably the most important part of the project for you. It ensures that communication is clear and up to date, and provides you updates on what's happening with the project. So consider that a value add as opposed to an extra cost. Number 20, don't worry if the agency's portfolio doesn't match your situation exactly. A number of times we have been in situations where a client is looking for someone that's been in this industry doing this exact thing with this exact customer base, whereas to us it's kind of the same as a generic other example. Sometimes you end up limiting your choices because you're stuck on finding a development agency specializing in manufacturing when really all you want is a website. So how different could that be? Number 21, don't insist on a local partner. A lot of times digital work can be done remotely. It's great to be face-to-face, but we found that even for clients in the same city, sometimes it's easier just to do that conference call or the go-to meeting that could have been done in a different state or country for that matter. Time zone seems to matter, but location isn't as important, I think, as people think it is. Number 22, don't create the site for the CEO, create it for your users. Many times we end up creating things that satisfy only one or two people in a company, and the end user hasn't been considered. When it gets out there, sometimes they're right, but sometimes they're wrong. So remember, keep the user front of mind, and when you're building a product, make sure you're building it for them. 23, don't believe the lowest price. You went out to the market, you got 3 quotes, 2 are really high and 1 is really, really low. The last one's wrong. And the last one, number 24, don't discount the value of outsiders bringing in opinions. This is sort of a classic consulting argument, but a lot of times you end up believing your own stories. I heard a quote once that when you're only listening to the dialogue inside the company, you're limited by what the company's already done. So bringing in an outsider sometimes just to have a conversation will give you ideas you never thought of. And those are the 24 mistakes to avoid when trying to hire a digital or web agency.